You heard Tibi's story of his life, his escape from the communists, and how the American dream became his and his family's reality. There's a movement in our country and even our state to take away basic rights we should all enjoy. Parents must have the strongest influence on their children's morals and ethics, not the state. We cannot allow the state or those with alternative motives to decide what our children learn and believe without our permission, things that benefit them and contradict our beliefs as parents and grandparents. We can no longer simply settle for what they call economic development and pandering to factories and nothing but labor jobs that throw money and special favors at our politicians to get their businesses here and simply provide low paying jobs. We need to build an environment in which our children can find a good career that pays well so they can live the American dream themselves. To do this, our priority must be to fix the educational system. Specifically in our state, South Carolina ranks very low in education, and within District 17, many of the schools score extremely low, even compared to the rest of the state. This has been allowed for much too long. We can no longer just accept low standards in the creation of a laborer's society. We need to work on preparing our children for an adulthood in which they and their families can thrive with a good education and preparing them for high paying technical jobs, skilled jobs, and the career fields that will help them get the life they want and we want for them. The money wasted by municipalities is taxpayer money. That's our money. The government simply does not add to the economy. In order to do anything, they take tax dollars from citizens and businesses. That is a necessity, but taking only what is needed should be the focus. The government should not take from the people to support special interests or give to another organization that doesn't give right back to the people. Many nonprofit charities do well for the people and are more efficient, much more efficient, at helping the people than the government. But we must also be careful to support the charities that don't use large amounts of money they get for administrative costs with salaries in the hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars, and then spend money on unnecessary things like private jets and luxury cars. We are also pleased to announce TB's plan to push forward and pass a Made in South Carolina program, in which products and crops produced in South Carolina get a label stating so that we as consumers can focus on supporting small businesses and especially our farmers. Often food items from other countries use chemicals that aren't even allowed in the United States, and less than 2% of the imported food in this country even gets inspected. Supporting our farmers is a matter of national security, and we must do the best we can to help them and protect us from potentially unsafe food supplies. TB also believes in school choice and a voucher program. Capitalism works. Competition works. Schools will be forced to do better or lose students and funding to other schools, including private schools, which you can expect to see a lot more of due to competition. And parents should have the right to dictate where their children go to school or if they choose to homeschool. No one else should have the influence to manipulate the morals, ethics, or religious beliefs of our children but the parents until they're adults. Parents are the ones with the children's best interest at heart, and they should have the ultimate say so. What is a rhino? A rhino is a Republican in name only. I don't like anyone who misrepresents who and what they are. Too often we have people running for office that claim to be something they're not. They make promises to get elected. After they're in office, they just do what they want. We cannot allow this any longer. People running for office must keep their promises. Tibi Czentye is a man of integrity. He values integrity highly and will fight to do everything he campaigns on. No matter which party affiliation you have, integrity and honesty should be qualities you seek in a representative. Someone who just started voting Democrat, was given donations from the law firm of one of the most senior Democrats in Columbia, is not someone I trust. TB wants an environment for all that allows our children and grandchildren to follow the American dream and only be held back by their own natural talents and ambition. We want an environment for them that if they work hard, study hard, and make good choices, they can fulfill their dreams. A leader is not a ruler. TB saw that as he fled Romania, even being shot at and risking his life to leave there. If not for this great country granting him asylum and allowing his family to come here, he could not have gotten where he is today. He shows his appreciation for this country, allowing him and his family to live the American dream by asking to act as a servant to the people. When elected, TB will fight for the people. He will not bow to lobbyists or special interests. He will not trade his beliefs and integrity for political favors. He promises to be a servant and representative of the people and fight for them. He will fight to stop government waste and fight for real progress for the people. Not just change, but positive change and progress. As I stated earlier, the farms in our country are a priority. They're a matter of national security and economic stability and flat out survival. People need good quality food that is affordable. The best way to make something affordable is through capitalism. Allow the farmers the freedom to produce what they want and any amounts they want. Allow the people to do the same. The ability to grow a garden or raise food is a God given right by design. Without food, we can't survive. We just can't live. That is simply how God designed us. No one should be able to pass an ordinance, a law, or an HOA policy that does not allow someone to put in a garden and dictates they only grow grass. We're not grazing animals, and we should have more rights than a cow or a goat. As long as a person has sufficient land and resources, does not cause a nuisance, they should also be able to have certain livestock, such as backyard chickens and goats. They should not be allowed to run loose in the neighborhoods or neighbors' yards or cause unreasonable noise, but people have the God-given right to life, which necessitates food. The rights of property owners should be held in high regard and protected. In addition, municipalities should have increased oversight with state audits when reports of misappropriations, incompetence, or come in or normal accounting standards are not adhered to. And there should be repercussions. And the state must be involved at that point. Senior citizens. Some of us here today are parents, grandparents, and elderly without any family left must not be taken advantage of. They protected us when we were young, and now it's our turn to keep the wolf from the door for them. One way to do this is to promote competition for medications for the elderly from reputable companies. A business-friendly and competitive market will naturally make products better and lower in cost. Senior citizens should not have to struggle and decide if they're buying the medicine or medical equipment they need just to survive, or if instead they have to pay their utilities or buy food. That must stop. It shouldn't be a one or the other. Many medications cost many times as much here as in other countries, and TB will work tirelessly to push our representatives in Washington to allow us to bring in medical equipment, supplies, and medications from reputable companies from our allies in Canada, the UK, and other places where often medicines there cost a fraction of what they do here. In turn, that will force the companies in the United States to lower prices and improve their products. We will also bust out those politicians that take money from those special interest groups and large pharmaceutical companies and then protect them rather than the citizens of our great state. TB has made a promise to represent you, the people, not the bureaucrats, not the lawyers or special interest groups and lobbyists. They cannot buy his integrity and loyalty. You, the people, are who TB will serve. At this point in our lives, many of us realize that what we build and what we leave for our children, grandchildren, and future generations, that's our real legacy. Those are the things that matter most. And God will judge us in the end, and he will not care if we have tremendous fortunes, fancy cars, yachts, or private jets. What he will care about are the things that you simply can't put a dollar value on. TB believes in all these things: parental rights, school choice, school vouchers, the ability to homeschool if the parent chooses, religious protections, and a unified people with equal protection and equal rights under the law. TB's vow to support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of South Carolina, so help him God, will never be compromised. We will use what we need and no more if TB has his way, and he will fight for that so that Columbia doesn't take more than they have to have. His time will not be wasted on rhetoric, a never-ending campaign, or motion without progress. You will never find TB running in circles pretending to do something. You will, however, see him working tirelessly to create progress for the people themselves, the ones with the real power and authority in this great country of ours. TB will help them to use that power and listen to them as he performs his duties to those that entrust him with this great responsibility. As many of us know all too well, there's a drug epidemic in our country, South Carolina especially. We have many people addicted to drugs or alcohol. We have many untreated mentally ill citizens who need our help and often turn to drugs or alcohol to self-medicate. TB's plan is to work with all of our organizations that offer treatment for drug abuse, alcohol abuse, and provide treatment to the mentally ill to form a comprehensive, all-inclusive treatment plan. Tibi will ask all of these subject matter experts, especially the ones that work with people on a daily basis, to come together, forming a plan to treat these issues instead of simply trying to beat people into submission. We're not about vengeance. We are about rehabilitation and helping our fellow men and women, our brothers and sisters, no matter how hard they've fallen. It's time for real representation in Colombia for the people. It's time for the people to have an environment in which they are only held back by their own natural talents and ambitions. It's time to support our youths so that someday they may live their dreams if they work hard, study hard, and make good decisions. It's time to help those in need, our most vulnerable, our elderly, our disabled. It's time for real opportunities that normal everyday people can take advantage of. It's time to listen to those of real importance, not the bureaucrats and special interests, but those that do the working, living, and dying here, the small business owners, the skilled laborers, the teachers, the farmers, the people that currently struggle to get by, the elderly whom we owe a great debt to for all they did during the decades before we were able to do for ourselves. It's time for Tibi. On June 11th, or if you wish to vote early now, we ask that you help Tibi to help you by voting for Tibi to be the Republican nominee for District 17 in the South Carolina Senate race. Oh, and by the way, Tibi's a big animal lover. I was almost a little jealous when two of my fur babies took turns getting pet by Tibi and ignored me for a while when he was over at my house. So we have a couple of people here today we'd like to recognize for their contributions.